Hello, man of God, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I pray that you all are having a blessed week. I want to start out by just asking you something. Are you and your wife building the same future, or are you just living in the same house? Let me ask that question again. Are you and your wife building the same future, or are you just living in the same house? Because a lot of couples, they love each other so dearly, but they're not aligned. They're not aligned because you're chasing your career goals and she's chasing family stability, or she has family goals and you have career goals, and you're not on the same page. You're not aligned. You both love God. There's no doubt about it. You both love God. You pray together. You go to church together. You read the word together, but you're not quite aligned because you both have different goals and you're not moving necessarily in the same direction. And here's the truth: unity multiplies progress. You say it again: unity multiplies progress, and division, it multiplies frustration. Today, I want to talk about how Christian husbands can lead their marriage to achieve goals together, God's way, so that you both are on the same page. If we haven't met before, my name is Pastor Lee Moyne, and I help Christian men grow in their marriage, in their leadership, and in their purpose using biblical truth and real life strategies. Let's start here. God never designed marriage for a solo mission. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says this. It says, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. Marriage is not two independent lives. Marriage is not two independent lives that are just sharing bills. It can't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. It wasn't designed to be that way. Marriage is two people on one mission under one God, building one legacy. Let me say that very clearly. You got two people, the man and the woman, on one mission under one God, building one legacy. Okay? Genesis says the two become one flesh. That's not just physical. It's not just talking about physical. It's talking about the vision. It's talking about the direction. It's talking about the purpose that you have in life. You become one flesh. You combine with your wife. If you're chasing goals your wife doesn't understand, or she's chasing dreams that you don't support, you'll feel like you're pulling against each other. You don't support her, so there's going to be friction there. She doesn't support you. There's going to be friction there. You're pulling in opposite directions. Who's going to win? Let me tell you, neither one of you are going to win, because you're going to be constantly at odds and you're going to start drifting apart. You have to get on the same page with what direction your family, what direction your life is going together. I want to show you here a 5-step Bible-based framework for shared goals. This is about how you and your wife share your goals, and it's based on biblical principle. First step is this: simple. Seek God first. Don't seek each other first. Seek God first. Go to God and talk to God first about everything and anything. Matthew 6:33 says, seek first the kingdom. Before you ask this question, what do we want? Before you ask that question, before you sit down together and ask, well, what do we want? Ask God, what do you want? God? What does God want for our marriage? That is the first step. You have to get in alignment with God first and then pray together. Pray about it. Pray about all things in your marriage. Pray about your finances. Pray about your family direction. Pray about the calling that you both have in your lives. Pray about your lifestyle. Pray about vacation time. Pray about everything. Pray about your ministry. Pray about the legacy that you're leading, that you're leaving for your children. Pray for your children. A marriage aligned with God is easier to align with each other. If one of you is out of alignment with God and then you try to connect, you're only going to get a disaster. It's going to end up as a train wreck. Be honest. I've been there before, where one person has one goals, the other person has another goal, and you're pulling, you're fighting, and you're shifting, and ultimately things didn't work out because we didn't have similar goals. We weren't aligned with God. We weren't aligned with one another. One had these goals and the other had those goals, and it just does not work. We have to be in alignment with God first. Step number 2 is this: share your hearts openly. Now, men, I know that's hard for a lot of us to share our hearts. We as men, we share our plans. Not many of us that share our fears. Sharing our fears with someone else is scary. Trust me, I've been there before. Opening up to my wife and sharing my fears. Man, that was hard to do. When we think about something like that, we think about, hey, how am I going to be judged? Are they going to judge me? How are they going to look at me for that? I have a fear of this. This gives me anxiety. With my wife, I share the things that give me anxiety so that what I've noticed is we balance each other. Usually my weaknesses are her strength and her weaknesses are my strength. And so when one of my weaknesses comes up, when it comes to like anxiety, for example, for me, and this is a fear, I have, I don't know what the word, maybe decision fatigue or something like that. But when it comes to too many decisions, it gives me a lot of anxiety. For example, if I have to fly somewhere, you get on the plane. Yeah, flying gives anybody anxiety. If I have to make the decision on what plane to take, what time to leave, what airport to go to, because I have a couple options around here. There's 3 airports I can choose. I have to choose between the airport, then I have to choose the day, then I have to choose the time I want to leave. That is a whole lot of decisions. That's like 50 decisions right there. So what my wife does is this. I share that with her. That creates, she knows that. So if I have to fly somewhere, I tell my wife, hey, here's when I got to be there. Here's when I got to be back. Can you help me out? She'll narrow it down. You want to get there a day earlier, there 2 days. So helps me there. Then the flights. Hey, what time do you want to leave? She'll go through. Okay, you got this option. Give me 3 options. That's love right there. We as men need to be comfortable sharing our fears, sharing our heart with our wife. That's what they're there for. That's what they're there for, so that we can share. And yes, it means being vulnerable. And yes, in relationships in the past, we've all been vulnerable and we've all been, burnt. We've all been burnt. Or what happens is you share a little vulnerability in yourself. And then what happens when things go south? That person throws it up in your face. Oh, well, you're too scared to make decisions. No, I just don't like fly and I don't like all the options. We have to be willing to share our hearts with our wives. Share pressure. Share some pressures that we're going through. Few men will do that. Few men will share the pressure. Few men will share the dreams that they have. You have dreams. You want to succeed in life. You want to accomplish more. You want to go higher in your education, in your job. And we're afraid to share those dreams with our wives. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because sometimes we don't get the support that we need. We get turned around. There's naysayers, especially like people, our friends, even our family members. There'll be naysayers. No, you can't do that. I tried doing that before. I tried starting a business and it failed. You can't, no, no. When you get in alignment with God and both you and your wife are in alignment with God, seeking God first, the doors open for you to share your dreams. Leadership is not, here's the plan, follow me. Many men think that. Here's the plan, follow me. You tell your wife, hey, get on board. Get the kids on board. Follow me. No, that's not leadership. Leadership is, here's what I believe God is showing me, showing us. Let's seek him together. Ask your wife, what do you dream about for our future? What worries you about our future? Where do you feel God pulling us? If we think about the needs of women, women want that. Women want security. Ask your wife, what does that security look like? What worries you? Because when I started talking to my wife about things that worry her, it was things that I don't even think about. The smallest things, like I won't say they're small, but it was just things that I just wasn't even thinking about. And your wife may be doing that too. She might be having worries about things. Here's one example. I like to entertain. I like to bring folks over to the house for fellowship. And for my wife, it's very stressful. And I'm like, well, hey, I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm gonna take care of that. And for her, it was just like, it's a stress of making sure that the house is presentable. And I never even thought about that. I thought it was about the cooking and all that. No, but you never know. Your wife has some worries. Your wife has some anxieties. You never know until you ask. You have to have those conversations. Ask your wife, where do you feel God is pulling us? What direction is God taking us? You might be surprised how aligned you already are. There's been times in my life where I brought something to my wife and say, hey, I believe this is the direction God is taking us. And Allie will look at me and say, you know what? God told me that a month ago. Wow, look at that. That's when you have that relationship with God, the relationship with God first. Third step is this: build one family vision. Amos 3:3 says this: how can two walk together unless they agree? You do not need 50,000 goals. You need maybe 3, maybe 5 shared priorities. Example, financial freedom. I know for Allie and me, that's one of the things that's our goal, is financial freedom. It's about paying off bills as quickly as possible. As we left last year, we left old bills in the past, paid off. And we look to the ones that we have now. It's like, okay, let's double up on payments. Let's get these knocked down. Shared priorities, financial freedom, financial goals, to have money at the end of the month, to be able to save money, to be able to invest money, to be able to afford vacations. That is a shared priority. Strong family culture, health, and longevity. ministry impact. These are shared goals, parenting legacy. How do you raise your children? What about your business growth? When vision is clear, your decisions in your marriage are going to get easier because you have a vision. You're working on your financial goals together, and something comes up like, hey, I want to buy a new camera, or I want to buy a new TV, or I want to buy a new stereo, or I want to buy a new watch. And it's like, okay, the decision becomes very clear because you're paying off your bills. You're trying to live better financially. So instead of this credit card continuing with this high interest rate, instead of you buying that camera, that watch, that TV that you really don't need, we could take that money and pay off this credit card and stop paying this interest. I hope that makes sense. I hope that it's helping you. I hope it's helping you think differently about leading in your marriage. And if that's so, I want to stop for a second. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe right now, because most men were never taught these things. They only watched, they observed others. And sometimes you had good examples, sometimes you had bad examples. But here on this channel, we're dedicated to helping you be a better husband, a better father, a better leader, a better man of God. So go ahead and subscribe. Step 4, divide roles, not value. Unity does not mean you both do everything equally. Let me say again, unity does not mean that you each do everything equally. What it means is this: you both own the mission fully. Proverbs 31 shows shared mission, different strengths, mutual respect. Shared mission, different strengths, mutual respect. You and your wife have a shared mission for financial freedom. You both have different strengths. I guarantee one of you is very good with money and one of you is very poor with money. Different strengths. She may be stronger with money than you are. You may be stronger than she is. Shared mission is financial freedom. You help each other through mutual respect. Here's how you find out. Ask your wife, where are you strongest? What areas? What areas are you strongest? My wife and I, we have taken control of our finances so that we're better stewards. And through that process, we looked at whose strengths were in what areas as far as money was concerned. My wife is very good at writing things down and at being accountable. And my strength is actually taking action, meaning, what do I mean on it? My strength is taking action and accountability to make sure that we're doing it and taking action. Okay, let's go to the bank. Let's do this. Let's open up these accounts that we need to, and then making sure each month that we are accountable and that we reconcile our accounts. My wife, on the other hand, she is very good at writing down all the numbers and keeping track of everything, where every penny is going. When you get to know your wife on a different level, you'll find out what their strengths are, and she'll begin to find out what your strengths are. Then that's when you operate like a team, not competitors. It's not you against your wife. You're a team. You're a team that God brought together. A team should work well together, not like competitors. Step number 5 is this: review life together regularly. Let me say that again. Review life together regularly. Most couples, they will review their bills. They'll review their schedule, their calendars. They'll review their kids' activities, but they never review the direction they're going. They never review the purpose that they're going. They'll never review the goals that they've set. They'll never review the spiritual growth. That's one thing that I love about my wife, because we have begun more review, and it leads to so much better, amazing conversations, to know that we're locked in on the same goals. We're going in the same direction. We have the same purpose, and our spiritual growth. It's nice to sit down at breakfast every morning and talk about what God has revealed to each of us individually. Let me tell you this. I want you to try this. I want you to try this on a monthly basis. I want you to initially sit down with your wife and write out a vision. What's the direction that you guys are going? Then I want you guys to pray about it, and then have a life alignment conversation. Do this once a month. Talk about your vision, talk about your life alignment, and pray about it together. Men, the biggest reasons couples fail at goals is this: pride. Pride is the number one way, because we'll say that our way is the best way. Pride, it has to be my way. And I've noticed this, that once I got out of that mindset, it changed. It changed. It enhanced my marriage, because my wife's way of doing things is really, really good. Sometimes my way is better. Sometimes her way is better. Recently, what we've been doing with our finances, this is a good example, is my wife follows Dave Ramsey, and she was like, you know what, let's get our finances in order. I'm like, cool. If you organize something, I'm following you. So Dave Ramsey has a plan where he talks about how you put your money for different things in like envelopes. So like, this is my rent money. This is for bills. This is for food. This is for takeout. This is for pleasure, whatever. So obviously we were not going to put money, cash, into separate envelopes and pay like that. And so what my wife did was this idea. She said, let's create a credit card that's equivalent to that envelope. So we have a debit card for groceries. We have a debit card for bills. We have a debit card for house items. We have a debit card for Caleb's needs. We have a debit card I have about 10 debit cards in my wallet. Now, if I'd have said, hey, I don't want to do that. I don't want to carry all these cards, which I was reluctant to carry all these cards. If I was saying, you know what, let's do it my way is best, we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't be able to see exactly where all of our money goes. So we have to move that pride out of the way. Also, another big reason couples fail at goals is silence. Men, we get lone wolf syndrome all the time. We get lone wolf syndrome, and we want to just carry things alone. Silence. You can't be silent. You got to share with your wife. Or assumptions. She should just know your wife is not a mind reader, just like you are not a mind reader. Don't assume anything. Next is fear. What if we fail? What if you succeed? 1 Corinthians 13 reminds us love is patient, love is kind, love is not self seeking. Marriage goals must be love driven, not ego driven. Here's what I want you to do. I want to offer up a challenge. I want to offer up a weekly challenge for you. This week, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do this. Have a goal alignment conversation date. Yes, I said it. A goal alignment conversation date. And ask during this date, what do we want life to look like in 3 to 5 years? What do we want life to look like in 3 to 5 years? Also, during this conversation date, what do we believe God is calling our family to do? Next, what is one goal we can pursue together right now? The most important thing is that you write it down. Clarity creates momentum. If you're not clear on where you're going, you're just out there driving somewhere. It's like trying to get somewhere. You don't know where you're going. You have nothing to plug into your GPS, and you're just driving around. So remember, have a goal alignment conversation date. A GACD. There we go. Type that in the comments. GACD. That's what you're having. A goal alignment conversation date. My wife and I, once a month, we have a goal alignment conversation date. Where we don't call it that. We call it our finance talk, where we go out to a restaurant for brunch. We go out to a little cafe, we try something new, we go out for brunch, and we take the computer and we talk about our goals, we talk about our finances. But these conversations are critical because you want to achieve more in your marriage, in your life, for your family. You have to have these conversations. Men, please listen carefully. The enemy does not have to destroy your marriage if he can just keep you distracted. If he can just keep you distracted and moving in different directions. But when a husband and a wife pray together, dream together, plan together, work together, trust God together, you become incredibly hard to stop because unity is spiritual power. If you want help becoming the husband that God designed you to be, then that's what we're here for, brother. We're here to help you and your wife become that spiritual powerhouse that God has called you to be. Man of God, make sure that you subscribe so you can get all of this biblically based information that we have for you, for your life, for your marriage. Strong couples don't happen by accident. They happen by alignment and obedience to God. Brother, take care. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon. God bless.